is the trust and the rapport between faculty and students, and I know that's repeated elsewhere and I'm going to look for it in college, but the way that my roommate described it this way. Once she said, you don't know quite what it means to have a student-faculty relationship at Midland unless you've scrubbed a toilet with your English teacher.
As a prefect, one of my responsibilities is to make sure that my prefectees' rooms are clean, and I consider clean everything put like where it belongs, everything organized, beds clean, counters wiped off, everything put where it belongs. No dust anywhere, but it's kind of hard here at Midland because of course there's dust. The consequences for not having a clean room are usually 6 slaps and white gloves, which is a more extreme version of room inspection.
We don't really practice any religion as a school. I mean, some people there will share like their religious, like if it's a special religious holiday, like a special Jewish holiday or something. If a teacher who is affiliated with that religion has a chapel, then they'll talk about it, or they talk about that tradition. Mr. Graham always likes to go back to the fact that Midland was founded on an Episcopalian church, but as of now, we don't have any priests to come or anything. It's just everybody's open to whatever. Seniors talk about things that are really important to them, and teachers talk about things that are really important to them. Basically, it's just an open community thing so that if you have something to say to the school, you can.
We need to unify and put a stop to the madness and folly of war, and harness our collective will and might in the cause of peace, progress, and compassion. Just imagine what kind of world we could build.
Emma, sigue leyendo, por favor.
Yeah.
Sí. I want my students to walk away with a full experience around not just Spanish language, but the experience of the Spanish-speaking peoples in the United States. I come from a family of 10, family of farm workers, and I was offered the opportunity to come to Midland, and things weren't going in my right path, in the right direction for me at the public high school, so I decided to take the opportunity, and I'm glad I did. I was here for 4 years as a student, then went on to UCSB. After UCSB, I did social work, working for the city of Santa Barbara, and now I've been here teaching in the Spanish department since 1996. One of the things that I try to do with my students is to lead by example, is to, when they see that I am comfortable with my Mexicanness and that I, speak a certain way with an accent, that I don't shy away from still voicing what my opinions or continuing to live my life as I need to. And so some of the things I specifically do is to get them to go into themselves a little bit and figure out who they are, find out who they are, where they came from. Because as soon as you begin to look into your roots, it's grounding. It's a very grounding experience.
You can take the rope with you and drag anything you can from the tree.
The assumption is that everyone who goes to a boarding school must have money, must be rich, must have certain cultural experiences that others less fortunate don't. In our job system, it doesn't really matter how much money you have or don't have. We're still doing common jobs, and we really depend on one another. We roll up our sleeves and help, and we don't look at the, those class lines.
The hardest thing, adapting to Midland. Well, I would say getting along with everybody else. There's new people. These are people you're probably going to be living with the next 4 years, and in my opinion, I think Midland teaches you not to judge people. It just teaches you to accept them.
My senior thesis was on attachment theory, which is the development that a child goes through in their first year of life, and I focus mainly on how that first relationship affects their future relationships. And I chose this because my mom runs a preschool, and so I've been around young children, and I've always really enjoyed the company of them. And I've wanted to know what a child experiences at such a tender age, like how it plays into their future life.
When does learning begin, and when does it end? When the bell rings? When the sun goes down?
Yeah, that's good.
Do you practice? Do you memorize? Do you imitate? Or do you absorb?
All right, let him reach over me. Say, go ahead. So I'm going to watch, but I want to front this guy. I want to shut him off from the ball, okay? And I also want to help out. I'm not fouling. Change the angle. Change the angle by just being tall.
Well, no, it's for.
Am I going to be on YouTube or anything?
I'm the director of admissions here at Midland School, and Midland doesn't have a glossy surface. And so if you're interested in Midland, it's because you see it for what it is right off the bat. A great school for great kids. And so I don't have to try to convince families of one thing or another. The difficult part, of course, is that we are atypical in the world of boarding schools. And so finding the families out there that believe in simplicity and giving their kids the chance to be self-reliant, that takes an exceptional family. The things we look for in an applicant are obviously grades and good recommendations and strong test scores. But for me, what makes a good fit with Midland is a young person who is able to talk to an adult and be comfortable engaging adults and people they've never met, looking me in the eyes, giving me a decent handshake. Those are qualities that, if they bring those to the table at the age of 14 or 15, I'm pretty sure we've got something we can really work with over the next 3 or 4 years.
The question I asked at the beginning, what drew me back here, I get it now. I finally realized that every time I came back here to try to document another piece of Midland, I felt this happiness welling up inside, so deep and wide, so complete, that I didn't even know I had the capacity for happiness that big. It's not nostalgia or any kind of sentimentality. It's not excitement, and it's not even enlightenment in the sense of a light bulb going on. It just comes when the conditions are right.
Tomorrow is Easter, and tonight is a club night. So I was thinking of showing the South Park Easter episode. Yeah. Then possibly No Country for Old Men. Later.
And now I'm convinced that every man and every woman has that capacity for completeness. It's like a seed waiting to sprout, or a flower waiting to bloom when conditions are right.
Can I get a beef as well?
So what are those conditions? That's the 5-page essay question, isn't it? You can probably express it better than I can. All I know is when that happiness comes bubbling up, it's good to surrender to it right on the spot. Because the next thing you know, it's time to leave. And you have to start wondering if you can take it with you when you go.